Hello everybody, this is Wallguy. A number of you have asked about my hardware setup, and I thought I would take the time to go over that a little bit today. What you're looking at right now is a ASUS 120Hz monitor. 120Hz makes things a lot more smooth when you play over the traditional 60Hz monitors. But in order to get that smoothness, you really need to have the horsepower to push 120 frames a second, and I of course took care of that. Beyond the monitor, you'll see my keyboard, which is a Microsoft Ergonomic model. It's probably not what you would expect for an avid gamer like myself, but I do like to have an ergonomic setup because my hands get fatigued from time to time. I'd prefer a mechanical key setup, but they don't seem to combine the two very often, so I'm kind of stuck with this, on the fence, thinking about getting a nice gaming mechanical keyboard. Over here you see my mouse, which is the Razer Mamba, a wireless mouse. Now, most people have this stigma attached to wireless mice when it comes to competitive online gaming because they think it's going to let them down, or it's a little bit slower, there's some kind of input lag. But nowadays wireless mice of this caliber are actually exactly as fast as corded mice. They both pull at 1,000 times per second, so there's really no difference. So lose the wires once and for all, people, and enjoy the freedom of a nice wireless mouse. Looking at my speaker setup, you'll see these old Logitech speakers. I bought them in 2006, I think, but they do the job and haven't felt the need to upgrade. I don't really have a seating arrangement where surround makes sense, so I stick with this 2.1 setup. Okay, moving on to the main beast. Let's set this speaker down. Get a look at the case. It's a Lian Li PC-P50wb. Comes with a nice side window panel for looking inside, and I've also done some customizations, adding extra fans, different things that required a little bit of ingenuity, but that's the overall look. In the front, I've got three 120mm fans taking air in. And a thing you'll notice, I don't have a optical disc drive in here. I really feel like that is an outdated piece of hardware. It should go out with floppy disks and other things of the ilk. If you need storage or various things, hey look, it's an external hard drive. Use one of those. And I mean, you can buy games digitally as well, so there's just really no need for an old disk drive anymore. On top, you'll see that I've got two 140mm fans exhausting air, and another 120 in the back on the inside. Looking inside, you'll see my CPU cooler. It's a Ergonomic Mega Shadow with a German-made noise blocker fan cooling it. I like this fan because it's kind of rounded and organic looking, and most fans look very plasticky and cheap and stupid, so we don't want stupid in my computer. Motherboard is a Gigabyte G1.Sniper. I usually buy ASUS, but I went with this motherboard because it had the best integrated audio solution at the time. The high-end ASUS boards required an external card to get that effect. This one does not, and it works great. I've been happy with it. I've got DDR3 2000 triple channel RAM there, 6 gigs worth. And the graphical solution, this is also interesting because it's not necessarily the highest end card I could have bought at the time. Given the choice, though, I went with these two GTX 460 Hawks from MSI because combined they were more powerful than the most powerful card at the time, which was a GTX 480. They're quite a bit more powerful, and they're also highly overclockable. The main reason for going with them over the 480 was because they tend to run a lot quieter and cooler, which is a nice thing to have. Actually, they're still faster than a GTX 580 as well, and with a sufficient overclock. And I usually run them around 900 megahertz, which does the trick for me. Medal of Honor and most games run over 120 hertz using these. My CPU, which of course you can't see under the cooler, is a Core i7 960. And you might ask, Wallguy, why don't you have the latest Sandy Bridge chip or something of that ilk? Well, the reason is because there's certain trade-offs with the newer platform. Since LGA 1366 was kind of superseded with the 1155 and such. And the thing is, CPUs really haven't gotten faster in a noticeable way in the last couple years. Kind of been stuck in a holding pattern since 2009 with the Nehalem architecture. Since then, they've made advancements in power efficiency, which is nice, but won't make your games faster, and a little bit of a bump in video transcoding and such. The real bump for the Sandy Bridge architecture, for example, was a nicer overclocking ability. But to have a power efficient overclock with the Sandy Bridge platform, you might get 4.6 to 4.8 gigahertz versus with this 1366 platform chip, I've got a power efficient 4.2 gigahertz going, so the difference is negligible. Getting something else would kind of be a side grade, and I'd also lose triple channel memory and a lot of PCI Express lanes for running multiple graphics cards. Inside the case, towards the front, probably can't see it, but I have an OCZ Vertex 3 240 gigabyte SSD running my OS, games, and all my programs. It's extremely fast, and people, if you don't have an SSD yet in your system, you're missing out on extremely fast load times and just snappiness in general. Looking down, you'll see my power supply, which is an Antec 1200 watt power supply. It's quiet and efficient, and it can power quad SLI if it wanted, I guess. And that about wraps it up. You see the whole package. And for those of you that don't have a 27-inch monitor yet, or 120 hertz, I really recommend it. It was definitely a nice upgrade from my old 22-inch monitor. Anyways, this is Wallguy signing off, and I hope you enjoyed looking at my computer, and I will see you online.